Welcome to Sports and Rants, the hottest sports radio show in America.
Sports. Rants. Brett. Pants. Sports. Rants. Brett. Pants.
Welcoming your hosts, Brett and Pants.
And we are on live with Coach Vermeil, former Philadelphia Eagles coach, led them to the Super Bowl in 1980. How are you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
It's great to have you on with us. Okay, so we're going to start off with asking you your thoughts on the Eagles' season for this year. How do you think Chip Kelly did?
Glenn, Brett, I think he did an outstanding job. Personally, I thought he should have been the NFL Coach of the Year. He did a great job to come in and turn a team that only won 4 games around or win 10, go into the playoffs, and actually, perform like a playoff team is very, very difficult to do. So I'm extremely impressed with Chip Kelly.
Now, Coach, you dealt with the same thing coming in with the Eagles, going from college to starting with a brand new team, basically. How difficult is that?
Well, it depends on what kind of team you take over. Most of the time when you get hired on a new job in the NFL, you're hired to take over a losing team. And to be able to turn a losing team into a winning team in the first season is rarely done. It took me 3 years to turn our team into a winning season. Chip did it in 1 year. So, it just reflects what a great job he did.
When you took over the Eagles, you also had the difficulty of not having a first-round pick, where Chip came in with draft picks and had some key players in the system already. How difficult was that for you?
Well, it was difficult. It was also frustrating. You're already losing to all the teams in your division and in your conference, and they're picking first, second, third-round picks, and we don't get to pick first, second round, third picks for 3 years. So it was frustrating. But at the same time, it made us do a better job evaluating the midline draft choice guys and the college free agents. So we were very, very fortunate and hit on a lot of them, including Robert Montgomery and Carl Harrison.
Did you want the job because you saw potential in the team? What made you become an Eagles coach?
Well, I'd been in pro coaching as an assistant. I knew it was all football. It wasn't recruiting. It wasn't summer job programs. It wasn't academic. It was all football, and I was so passionate about the technical sides of football, I felt it would give me an opportunity to work 100% of my time on football, and that's why I went.
Now, did you have the ability to bring in your own coaching staff when you took over the Eagles?
Yes, I did. I had 100% control of that.
Now, does that help in the regards of having the team built around the same coaching philosophy?
Well, yeah, it helps you. I don't think it's mandatory. If you know certain people on the staff that are good coaches and you're aware of and you seek recommendations and you trust the recommendations, you keep them. I kept 7 assistants at UCLA when I became the head coach there. I kept 2 when I came to Philadelphia. So sometimes it's a good idea to keep a couple. I kept 3 when I went to St. Louis Rams.
We had Vince Papale on our show a few weeks ago. How much of the decision was yours to have Vince Papale go in for a tryout?
Well, it wasn't a tryout designed specifically for Vince Papale. It was designed to give young athletes an opportunity to try out for a National Football League team and also create interest in our team, rejuvenate the attitude of NFL fans in Philadelphia because they've been losing. They were down. The fans were. The team was. And I just thought it would be a good thing to do psychologically for the team as well as physically. And we were very fortunate when we had the organized routine workout on a Saturday there in the spring. Vince came over and signed up and tried out and did a great job. So we signed him, not with expectations that he would make the team, but at least we would give him a chance.
Now, Coach, how difficult is it to evaluate NFL talent? You coached in the college and you coached high school. How is it different evaluating the talents of each player?
Well, I think it's easier to evaluate NFL talent if you started out coaching in high school and saw what the great athletes look at that level. Then you go into junior college like I did, and you see them with 2 years or more maturity. Then you see them go into Division I college football at Stanford and UCLA. You start to really recognize certain talents. And then you get into the NFL, you sort of have a library of knowledge of what it takes to get better each level. And I thought it was a real advantage to have all those exposures. And, of course, when you see the real good ones, it doesn't take much time to evaluate them. They are glaringly good, and it stands out to say, hey, this guy can play. The marginal guys are the ones that are harder to evaluate and project where they'll end up being 2 or 3 years down the road.
Now, when you took over coaching the Eagles, you had the opportunity to evaluate the quarterback situation, and you went out and traded for Ron Jaworski. What did you see in him that made you think that he could be an NFL quarterback?
Well, Ron Jaworski was on the Los Angeles Rams staff when I was there as a young assistant. We drafted him, and he was our third quarterback there. And I liked him as a young assistant. I liked his attributes physically. I liked his attributes mentally and emotionally, and I thought he would be a real good fit for the Philadelphia area and the community as well as the team. That's why we traded Charlie Young for him straight across.
Now, with his performances, are you glad you made that trade?
Oh, yeah, glaringly. If you'll remember, in 1980, he was the NFC Player of the Year in the league. So, I mean, he did an outstanding job for us, went to the Pro Bowl a few times, and he was very much responsible for quarterbacking us into the Super Bowl that we lost.
Now, in 1978, you would take the Eagles to the Super Bowl for the first time in 18 years.
1980, yes.
Yeah. How was that experience different, especially with the Philadelphia area?
Well, I think we all sort of overreacted. We were extremely excited about winning the NFC Championship game here in our home stadium, in the old Vet Stadium. And then we had a 2-week bye, and then we went down and played and lost. We did not play well, and we turned the ball over. We just did not play well. We weren't 100% healthy, which hurt our passing game because Charlie Smith, our number one flanker-back, could not play. He had a broken jaw. Our number 3 receiver, Scott Fitzke, couldn't play because he had a stress fracture of the leg. So we weren't 100%, but at the same time, we just didn't play as well in that one big game as we're capable of, and they won the game.
How's that experience different for you from when you went to the Super Bowl in Philadelphia compared to Kansas City and St. Louis?
Well, in St. Louis, when we went to the Super Bowl, first off, I took a little more talented, skilled athlete team. We had 3 or 4 potential Hall of Famers on that football team. Already one of them inducted in Marshall Faulk. The next one will be Kurt Warner. The next one will be Orlando Pace. The next one will be Torrey Holt. We had some great players. And that makes a difference in great, big games because sometimes great players have to step up and take the design of the game plan and the individual play way beyond the design of the play. And those players did. If you'll remember, Isaac Bruce made a big play that won the game for us. So I think that was different. The other thing was different is that we didn't have a bye. We won the NFC Championship game against Tampa, and the next day we were on an airplane flying to Atlanta to practice and get ready to play the game on that Sunday.
Was the atmosphere different coming from the fans and the outside perspective and the media attention from with Philadelphia rather than the St. Louis one?
Yeah, it was a little different. It was a little different in that when you don't have a bye, you don't get into the hype of the game quite as much because first off, all you're doing is preparing for the game, getting ready to play Sunday, just like a regular season game. When you have a bye prior to the game, you have 2 weeks to prepare for the game, and the media coverage gets twice as intense within the 2-week period as it is in the 1-week period. So it sort of magnifies the how big the game really is.
Now, you would coach the Eagles for 2 more years after the Super Bowl in 1980. Why do you think you were never able to get back there or win a Super Bowl with the Eagles?
Well, and you remember in 2001, we came out after losing the Super Bowl and won 6 straight. In fact, we were the only undefeated team in football. But we tailed off toward the end. We still made the playoffs, and we got beat in the playoff game. We fumbled a punt return for a touchdown and a kickoff return for a touchdown, and we hadn't touched the ball. And we're down 14-0. Hard to beat a good playoff team, and they're executing football like that. So that's why we didn't get back there. The next year was the strike year, and we didn't respond well to the number of games that we played.
You still had an unbelievable coaching career with the Eagles, that you were inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame. What was that moment like for you in your life?
Well, you know, I appreciate my entire experience in Philadelphia. That's why I'm still living here with my 2 sons' family, my daughter's family now. They live in California. But anyway, it's home for us. It's home for us. I feel close to the community. I feel close to the fans that love football, and it's our home.
What aspect of the community made you feel close to it?
Well, I think the intense passion they have for the Eagles and the appreciation for a good job. You know, we didn't win it all, but we did a good job. We took the losingest team in football to the Super Bowl in 5 years. That's hard to do, and I'm proud of it. Not many people have been able to do that. And the fans appreciated that. They appreciated our work ethic. They appreciated our integrity. They appreciated the character of our football team, and therefore they appreciated the coaching staff.
Now, throughout your coaching career, you took a few breaks and you were on several sports television shows. Do you think that actually helped your coaching by taking breaks and then coming back and seeing the changes in the NFL?
Yeah, I think it did. I think it gave me a better look at myself. Of course, I was much more mature. I wasn't as emotional. I wasn't as intense. I wasn't driven negatively. And I think that helped me do a better job. Just the maturity in itself. Plus, in the broadcasting world, I got to see all the great coaches coach and visit with them and get to ask questions and learn from the things that they did well. And also learn from the things in comparison that I did well.
Now, is that a different perspective watching it from the game from the booth than it is from the sideline?
Oh, no question. It's not nearly as intense, not nearly as involved. A little bit more fun game day.
All right, Coach Vermeil, thank you for coming on. Brad and I both thank you utmost that we can.
Yeah, thank you, Coach, for joining us, and we very much appreciated your time.
All right, thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This concludes our podcast of Sports and Rants with Brent and Pan. Thank you for listening. Please follow us on Twitter at Sports and Rants. Like us on Facebook. Remember to subscribe to us on iTunes. And visit our website, www.sportsandrantz.blogspot.com. It would help our rankings on iTunes if you rate and review our podcast. Thanks, and have a good day.